Hey guys, this review's more back in a quick review. This time it's on another item from that magical store Lidl, that German store where there's the center aisles of temptation that can have everything from baking supplies like this stand mixer for 60 bucks, or it can have things like night vision goggles, power tools. I think I've even seen some things for just like, drilling, and they have everything. Everything shows up there. Everything shows up in that center aisle at some point during the year, and it's awesome. So this is an item I picked up just recently for $60. It's a 300-watt stand mixer. It was 60 bucks, and we're relatively happy with it. It's a good little item. We like the way it works. The major issues I have with it is it's very, very lightweight, which is to be expected at that price point. It's not a KitchenAid stand mixer for $300. It's a Silvercrest Lidl brand stand mixer for $60. So with that expectation, my recommendation right off the bat would be it'd be a perfect gift for someone who's getting into baking. That's probably who it would be for. One of the big positives at this price point, you're getting metal attachments. So your bread hook that you're unpacking there, the whisk, everything is metal. I've seen other things. I think Ambiano, which is the Aldi house brand, I've done a review of that product as well that looks a lot like this one, and they had their little paddles are all plastic. So the mixers, all that stuff was plastic, with the exception of the whisk, which was metal. So that's a pretty good thing for that price point, to have metal attachments with non-stick. And with this, you'll get your basic mixing paddle, a bread hook, as well as the whisk. So 3 little attachments to go with it, as well as a feeding spout right there, and the splatter guard that it attaches to. I didn't use it in the review, but you can obviously use it, and I'm sure it does work just fine. I just didn't feel the need to do it because they're pretty standard. To take off the basin, you turn counterclockwise, and then you have to kind of pull it up firmly because it's still held pretty tight in there. So that's a little bit maybe of a negative. It stays in there too snug. So if you have something that's really, really liquidy mixed up in there, it might splatter on you, so be careful. The way it stores the wires is also very convenient. You can wrap it all the way up and tuck the end of the cable right in there, and then you can store it flat somewhere, and it won't have like cables hanging out, and it won't sit lopsided because like the head of the actual plug is tucked away. So you get that little benefit too, some extra thought. So real fast, there's the actual attachment going in, and you're going to hear a sound test. So for about 10-15 seconds, you'll hear this thing going. So sorry for the sound. You might want to turn down the volume. Yeah, so sorry about that noise. So this is just a cake batter test, and the next test you'll see is a little more intensive with actually making bread and real for true bread dough, which is much heavier. This would be light mixing, so you're dealing with a thin batter. It's not going to attach to anything. You see a little itty bitty vibration in the top half of this stand mixer, but it's not crazy. It's not bad. So it performs very well with things of this consistency or thinner. It would do well with brownie mix, basic cake mixes, probably even cookie mix to a certain degree, as long as it's not too thick. Now what you're going to see in just a few moments is me actually getting a bread ball or a dough ball ready to cook some bread. So this is what someone might be saying, hey, I really want to start cooking bread, because bread's like a hobbyist thing nowadays. I don't know why. Everyone's stuck at home. But what you're going to see here is a lot more shaking, a lot more visible shaking. So if you look there, that's the bread dough without enough water in it yet, so it hasn't turned to a bread ball yet. Sorry, a dough ball. But you can already see that top there, it's just shaking like a leaf, and that's locked in place, and it's on the lowest setting. So this is not even the most intensive. And in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume back on, and this is with the bread hook. So the bread hook's in there kneading the dough, and it's still shaking pretty hard, and you're going to hear it in just a moment. You're actually going to hear the sound of the machine, and just take a note of how hard the motor is starting to work. Again, guys, sorry about the noise, but if you can see here, the dough ball is being formed. It does, in fact, work. It works pretty well. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that it's a little bit shaky. It's going to work those suction cups on the bottom of the actual stand mixer pretty hard. So overall, I would not recommend for this for someone who's going to be cooking bread a lot or heavy, thick doughs, that kind of stuff. I would definitely recommend it for someone who's like does a lot of cake cooking, does a lot of like sweets baking, that kind of stuff. That's where you're going to see a real good use out of this. So maybe if you're sending a kid off to their first apartment and they're thinking, I like baking cakes a whole lot, well, this be a good thing for them. If they're thinking, I really want to get into making bread, maybe try it and then go buy a better one, because this one's just not heavy duty enough. I don't feel like it would last terribly long. It's got a warranty on it, so it would go, but even the recommended instructions only recommend the bread size of 4 cups of flour at the very most, and that recipe saw there was 3, so that was a 3 cup of flour recipe. So you're really not having a whole lot of headway to really make a whole lot of bread or any large amount of baked goods. So if you're looking for someone who really is like, I want to get into baking bread, maybe let them try it on someone else's stand mixer and then get something more heavy duty, because this one I don't feel comfortable making a lot of bread in it, and that's only because it is just a little flimsy. But as far as making cakes, cupcakes, cookies, brownies, I think it would probably do a pretty good job. So that's my review, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and have a great day.